Joyner Lucas.
Yeah.
I'm not racist. So we all heard the song. Mm-hmm. Nate just heard it. The shit was out like 2 damn months ago.
So did you listen to it or did you watch the video?
I listened to it, so like with the lyrics and stuff, because I like to read the lyrics.
Have you never seen the video?
I haven't seen the video yet.
I
didn't know I was supposed to watch it with the video. So.
Well, that's just a part of it, because when it starts off, it's 2 actors. It's the first verse is in the video is the white guy.
Okay, well, right, because but I got that part through the
it's
song.
Just because I didn't know who he was, so when I first saw it, I was like, this is gonna be like a super racist video, because I didn't know if it was actually a white guy.
We just talked about that, because
you talk about how it sounded.
Yeah, I was like, and for me, that just shows how talented he is. I mean, he is super talented to be able to spit like that with a whole different octave of his voice.
Yeah, but I think the reason why the video is so imperial that you watch is that when most people didn't know Joyner Lucas. I did personally, but most people didn't. But when you see the video, literally the thumbnail of the video is a white guy in the "Make America Great Again" hat.
Yeah. I saw that, and I was like, because when I was listening to the podcast and we were talking about it, I thought it was Jordan.
Oh, okay.
And not so that's what I was looking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it came out, I'm like, oh, this might be like a different video. You know what I mean? I don't know enough to decide that this is right. So
this song came up, like clearly this white guy isn't rapping. So where's the song?
So and then it had the same name with lyrics, and I'm like, well, I'll watch the video later. And then I listened to that like 4 or 5 times. So
go ahead and start by giving us your thoughts, Mr. Fantastic, on it.
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I thought it touched on everything that goes through somebody's mind, be it black, white, whatever it is. I really think it touched on all the stuff that people are too scared to talk about, or at least voice their true opinion on. Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, I mean, he's super talented, because the song itself sounds like 2 different rappers.
I know.
I mean, it really does. I mean, it sounds like 2 different people, and it's not. It's one person. And the fact that he's smart enough to talk about the white side of things, I guess is the best way to put it, without sounding like he's trying to push his own rhetoric on stuff. Like, that sounds like someone, an angry white man would write.
You can tell he was being totally objective with it. Like, he was
trying to be.
Trying to make
I mean, yeah. I mean,
he's still, you can't all the way be objective.
Right.
But.
I mean, he still had his point at the end of the song,
right.
And but at the same time, it made me think of. And we were talking about it with Brighton, that's a totally different story, but like when a great concept comes up and you see a bad version of it and a good version of it. So there was a song by Brad Paisley and LL Cool J.
I heard it.
Accidental
racist.
Yes, and it's the same concept. It is the same. It's
that
trying.
Just seems stupid.
But it's trying to give out the same message, but it comes out.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah,
it did. It did. It's like, listen, I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to be your friend, but you got to remember what was beat in my head because of where it came from and all that stuff. And so, but it just came out fucking. That's one of the worst songs I've ever heard. But anyway, for me, music, movies, and stuff, if it makes you think, if it makes you want to share it with somebody, then it's good. And it made me want to do all those things and more. Like, I listened to it like 4 times in a row. I mean,
I did too.
Yeah, like half an hour of my life is gone because I listened to this 6-minute song, just boom, boom, boom. Made my errands take longer because I'm sitting in the car just, and trying to pick up on stuff and see where it was leading and the different verses and all that stuff. But overall, like, I agree with everything in the song to a point. The only thing I didn't like about it is he brings everything to fruition and brings it out and talks about it and talks about the differences and what a white person's generic perspective is and what a black person's generic perspective is, and but there's no solution. Like, for me, I'm ready to hear music and movies where it talks about just, hi, my name's Nathan, and that's it. Hi, my name's Demetrius. Hi, my name's Terrence, and that's it. There's no, I make a very big point of when someone asks me, I said, oh, that person, and they're like, oh, well, who are you talking about? Describe them. I try really hard not to use religion, race, any of that stuff. Like that, right. Yeah. Like, I try to just use, physical features and stuff like that. No. Let me get to my point, and then you can yell at me. But what I'm saying is people still focus on that no matter what. But they do. They focus on religion, race, all that stuff, and why do we do that? There's no reason to do that. Like, black people say, oh, we stole your culture. White people are like, get over the fact that stuff happened 200 years ago, whatever. Why don't we just stop talking about it and just be better people and treat people with respect and just move on? If you like Nike shoes and I'm like, ooh, I like those Nikes, where do you get them from? And I go buy one, that's just because I liked your shoes. That's it. I like the music you listen to. I want to listen to it too. That's it. It's not a culture thing. It's not a race thing. It's not anything like that. It's just us doing what we like to do. And I don't know. That's my rant for the day.
Well, before I get to what I was about to say, what you think of the song Invisiblekatana?
I like the song. So I had heard about it before, and I think I'd watched like one video, but I didn't listen to the song. And I'll just call her M. She asked me what I think about it, and so I listened to it like a couple of times after she asked me, because like more interested in perspective. But I was like, okay, because I'd watched the video. So you mentioned like there being like no solution. In the video, when it ends, it's basically like kind of a nice sort of ending and stuff. Yeah, I didn't like the ending that much either.
That's why you gotta watch it.
But that's like,
that had been something
because it was like,
the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the whole thing, like everything that was said, and then it's kind of just like
basically
a nice, yeah, they hug at the end. It's
imagine
like,
they both saying what they saying, and then they was just like.
But see, that's not okay.
And it's plus it's and that's one of those weird things where it's like because I did watch an interview where he mentioned like if he went as far with it, then ultimately it would just be stuck to one side where it's like, oh, he's just trying to do this, and it might be stuck that way anyway. If you're super racist, then you're just gonna.
I can agree with, because I've seen a few interviews with Joyner. Joyner is one of my favorite artists right now. He's a I won't say protege, but he's kind of like of the class of Eminem type artists. If you know anything about music, you listen to rap, you can say, okay, this guy is influenced by Eminem, hands down, flat out.
Now he's from here, right?
He is from actually, he's from, I think, DC.
Oh, okay.
DC, from the DC area. So, because he talked about it not being that many rappers from DC. Yeah, man. The song, I actually like the song. I can't really, I'm not in full agreement with everything I heard in the song. In fact, when I first heard it and saw it, I was, like I said, the ending really threw me off, because I'm like, okay, from a perspective of a black person, once you see the video from the first time, you start off pissed first, because you like, who is this white motherfucker? What the fuck is he talking about? And why is this dude not punching him in the face right now? He's very poised, because he was saying a lot of shit, and so I'm like, okay, but you get over that. And you get
through the whole thing.
Yeah. You listen to the young black dude's part, which I'm just like, he didn't even. To me, all right, let's break it. I don't think he really went. I won't say hard enough, because he did interviews, kind of saying what his objective was. Yeah. And I can understand it. He was like, well, I'm writing from literally the aspect of these two people. I'm not trying to put every white person in the aspect of this white guy, and I'm not trying to put every black person in the aspect. It's an older white guy. You can tell what his ideology is just by his hat, which is, some shit in itself. And then you had this young black dude with hair all dreads, whatever. He's young. Yeah. So when I heard that, I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I can't really knock that, because I can't expect a lot of wisdom to be coming from a young person in the first place. And that's literally what your intention was.
And I haven't heard interviews from him or anything, but I think from an artistic perspective, he was trying to show, like, old generation, new generation, how are we going to figure this shit out? How are we going to get through this? And, because if you do it any other way, I don't think it's going to be as powerful.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Of a song, if you did, like, same age black person, same age white person, and a young white person. Because young white people are starting to see what the world really is, and they're really trying to be in the forefront of everyone's equal and all this stuff, at least I think. From my perception. So I don't think it would have been as powerful if he didn't do it this way. Yeah.
And I think with this type of video, like we said, as far as the ending, where it's like the perfect ending, everything that's said, and then it's like, it's kind of TV style, where it's like anytime gun control comes up on a TV show, somehow there's this perfect solution that we've never managed to find in real life.
So no,
but it was that sort of.
It was a lot of black Twitter outrage. Black people didn't like that. It's just like, okay, y'all yell for 6 minutes, then y'all hug. What the fuck does that mean? Like, you know.
But see, for me, that's normal. Like, that's how me and my family get through our problems. We yell at me and my dad, we yell at each other and then we hug it out like 20 minutes later. So
yeah, that would happen in a family.
But isn't that how we're supposed to try? Like, that's what I think the artistic part of that is we are all family. We all are brothers and sisters, right? So I think maybe that's what he was trying to portray. You got to find a way to figure it out, and let's open up the doorways, right? I mean, the first solution to a problem is knowing the problem. So instead of being like mumbling like that motherfucker, that guy's taking my jobs and shit like that, you know, but not telling you and not talking to you about it, not looking at the issues, then you'll never get a solution. Yeah. So
well, I want to say this. I want to bring up this point. I want to get y'all's perspective of it. The reason why I think you can say, if you're playing devil's advocate, so to speak, that a lot of people can have a little bit of problem with that particular. Like I said, I'm gonna preface this by saying I like the song, I like the video, and I'm glad Joyner Lucas did it. Because if nothing else, he brought up the conversation. If nothing else, I don't care if he didn't do it right or whatever. It was a huge thing. It was a huge hip hop song that actually meant something, said something, and got people talking about something other than bullshit. So I can appreciate that hands down. But I think where a lot of people might have problems with it is just, of course, we live in America. We've been living in America, and hopefully we know a little bit something about it. At this point now, you have people that would say, all right, well, let's look at the video from the perspective of, especially if you have one group of people who feel like, you know, white supremacists who feel like we should be supreme over every other group of people. And then you have another group of people who feel like, well, okay, because of that, we've been victimized. That's not too much of an equal playing field. That'd be almost saying, like, if you go take it back to Nazi Germany, where, okay, you're in a situation where the Jews are in camps and the Nazis are not, but you get one Nazi talking to a Jew, and by the end of the conversation, they hug it out. The Nazi's still gonna go back to wherever he comes from, and the Jew's gonna go back to the camp. So it's like, that's not really fixing the problem. You could resolve an issue between two people and how they feel, but that's not overall going to fix this particular problem.
You know, and I think that's, I mean, admittedly, all you can hope for is or two people at a time, I guess, because there's not going to be anything that's instant for a whole group.
And you talk about that hug, and then they go back, but they're going to remember that conversation, and that Nazi might come back remembering that hug and say, you know what, they're not that bad. You know, maybe let's start getting some of them out. I definitely want to get this guy out because I had a connection with him or whatever. So, like, for me, the hug at the end of the video isn't the end of that saga.
Whole thing,
right? So, and in the song and in the video, which I haven't seen, let's preface that, I haven't seen it yet, just from your guys' description, but at least the song, like, I think that's part of the song is they aren't the extremists. You know, they're the generic version of that, and I think he's trying to bring to the forefront, like, hey, you know, you see on media, extreme white person, extreme black person, there's 80% of us in the middle.
Right.
How are we going to figure that out? How are we going to address these issues that we hear in the media, that we think about, that we do? How are we going to address that? And sometimes it does start with just a hug. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, even with my kids, when they're fighting over something or they're disagreeing about something, at the end of the day, they still love each other and they still hug each other. They still care for each other. So if we're trying to move forward as a society and get through this together, then you have to do that. You know, me and my wife have a rule. We don't go to bed angry. We don't go to bed mad at each other. You know, at the end of the day, we're ready to hug each other. That doesn't matter if we had a great date or if we had a 2-hour fight and yelled at each other and called each other names. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what kind of day we have. And I think that's what the video, and maybe I'm going too deep into it, but I think that's what the video is trying to show.
You might be a little bit on what he was trying to really do.
You know, but the fact of the matter is when you put art out there, everybody has their own perception. Because so
I'm gonna tell you this, he did say, because like I said, that was a huge critique. A lot of black people were like, okay, the white guy went off, the black guy went off, they both hugged. What the fuck, Joyner Lucas? And he was like, he literally said, okay, I know in the real world this will not have fucking happened, but this is my world. This is what I want to happen in this world. It's not the fucking real world. I can write the shit any way I want to. That's how I want to end it. Yeah, flat out. So.
And maybe if people started trying to act like that in the real world, we'd have more hugs than killings, right? I mean, I don't know.
Interesting. Another point I wanted to make was I seen a lot of black people bring this up, and it's always funny looking at black people on Twitter, bro. It's the most pathetic thing. But anyway, another gripe that they had, Black Twitter, the infamous Black Twitter, They get people the fuck out of here, I'm telling you. Black Twitter got some power. Not that much, but a little bit. But anyway, they was talking about how, which I thought this was interesting. They were saying how if you listen to the conversation, and this could be a little bit indicative of Joyner Lucas's subconscious and how he thinks, but if you look at the argument of the song, you get the white guy basically spewing a lot of negative stuff of what he thinks about black people in general, no jobs, and if you do this, this will happen for you. And basically you get the black guy, he didn't necessarily spew a lot of, you know what I'm saying, you this, you that. It was more from a victim type of place where, okay, but you don't understand, you don't. So it's just like, you know, because I think people kind of perceive the song as you get a white guy saying all this about the black, and then you probably get the black guy, well, fuck you, whitey, because this, that, and he just be the other on the other side. But some people would, I think, more people that I've seen were white. They would say, they kind of was saying like that was unfair because they put like the white man like.
But it's not unfair. I'm a white man and I have older family members. I have people that voted for Trump that I know of and stuff like that. And the things that come out are negative things. That is what it is. And I'm sorry, when you're a minority, you're always on the defensive. You're always on the, hey, I like this because of this. And I do that. You're not trying to bring down the power. You're just trying to defend yourself so that you can get to the point where you're equal power. So for me, like, I don't think it's a wrong, I mean, it's a wrong perception and for different reasons that we shouldn't be talking like that. But the fact of the matter is that other races from white people have always been put down, have always had a negative way